Hey everyone, welcome back to those who have been tuning in to our videos through our podcast and everything. But this is a special edition that we're doing here today. Today we have a special guest who's also a part of our group, but this is a special type of video. So welcome to our artist slash musician, Nuriel. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Doing
Good?
well.
Yeah, so some of you know him, some of you should get to know him, but he's definitely a musician slash artist who's been, pretty much doing this for about 15 years. Well, no, sorry, since you were 15, right?
So I was 15.
Sorry, yeah. So since you were 15,
Yeah.
and you excel a lot in piano and drums. You've been pretty much using this music. You've released it. How many albums now? Three?
Three for now, but a couple singles and a couple of content remixes of different, maybe a little bit of covers too. Just different type of, just me experimenting with different things.
Gotcha. So it's, but that's awesome. 3 albums. Just not many people can get to say that.
Oh, no, especially for I've been doing this since I was 15. I'm 23 years old. A lot of people have quit, during the process of the journey.
But you do a lot of rapping. You do singing. You even do your own music production, right?
Yeah.
So you do your mastering, mixing.
Mm-hmm.
So you pretty much do it all.
I had to because when I first started, I would just rap, and I would sometimes depend on other people, like, hey, can you make a beat for me? Can you do this for me? Can you do that for me? And they're like, yeah, but this is how much it's gonna cost. Oh yeah, I'll get into you later, and then they never get back to me ever again. I'm like, okay, so you know what?
I mean, at 15, you don't even have a job, so it's kind of hard to pay pay for all that.
It is, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do my own stuff because
So what got you into that? And besides not wanting to pay it, like what drew you to want to do your own music? Like, did somebody teach you?
A little bit of YouTube, and also you. You did too. You taught me how to quantize. I think that's the word.
Quantize. Mm-hmm.
Like the notes and everything too. Work a little bit on Logic, because when I first started, I was using GarageBand.
Sure. I mean, a lot of people start with that.
I was doing their loops and everything, just trying to get the hang of everything. And but what inspired me to do it was just to be independent in my own music and doing my own style, because people would do their own style every time they make their own beats, they do it their own way. I was like, nah, I don't like it. I'm gonna do it my own style. I like doing it my own way, and I just grew from there, pretty much.
Right. No, and it's crazy. I mean, I remember you started when you were about 15, and here we are 8 years later, and I've seen the process. I've seen you grow, and still continue to grow. You know, and I know you just released your 3rd album recently, about a week ago or so, and I've been listening. I've been jamming to it, man. It's pretty good.
Thank you.
You're doing excellent when it comes to that. But like, since you were doing it since you were 15, I mean, let me ask you this: how different is it making music now than when you started? I know, obviously, you're learning some things, right? You're learning the new stuff, like you were saying. You just started with loops and things, but how is it? Like, is it easier to get inspired now than it was back then? Like, can you hear something like, oh, this is something I need to kind of put into writing, or what's the process like now than it was back then? How different is it?
Well, I think I always had the same strategy in a way of kind of what helped me improve in my music was kind of, I guess, copying a little bit of people and how they do it, and kind of do it my own style in a way. Like when I first started, I used to wanted to be like Eminem, right? So I try to sound like Eminem. I try to make the beats like Eminem and everything, but that helped me a lot. And a lot of artists done the same thing too, and that's how they got big, and that's how they improve in themselves. So that's the way I see it, and that's the way I get inspired by just listening to a song. I was like, oh, I should do a genre just like that, just to experiment. I kind of have established of what I want to do, and that's just rap and pop in a way.
Okay. So, I mean, that's funny you say that, because I guess one thing I was kind of going to ask you is, if someone were to ask you, what genre is your music, what would you say?
For sure. For right now, at the moment, we're speaking about that journey, right? Since the journey has already been established, I'm making another EP that's gonna be called The Alternated Journey, which is gonna be like kind of like Linkin Park, how they have the Reanimation album.
Oh, gotcha, like a little remix.
Yeah, remixes of same lyrics.
Well, because the 3rd album, before we continue, the 3rd album is actually called The Journey.
Yep.
Right. So that's what we're talking about here. So you're saying that you're trying to create the remix of that journey, right?
Pretty much. It's like kind of like a different journey now, because it's gonna be different genres, same lyrics but different genres. It's gonna be like one rock, one pop, well, maybe 80s, a little bit acoustic. There's different genres that I'm kind of experimenting at the moment, just to make a unique sound and make my own style, because that's the best part about being an artist, is being unique. You know,
Being creative.
being creative and being unique, and you have to stand out like that for sure.
Okay. I mean, so going through that motion, if somebody, like I said, if somebody were to ask you what genre it is, I guess you can kind of say a little bit of everything for now because you're experimenting.
Yeah,
But for the most part, you're grounded and rooted in rap,
rap and a little bit of pop.
a little bit of pop, so like
But
pop
mostly
rock,
rap,
pop rap. Okay.
for sure.
And like so, and then again, like how is I don't know if it's different now than it is back then, like creating your own style. You mentioned Eminem. What else? Who else? I guess influenced you to kind of do this type of stuff? Because I mean, Eminem is like obviously everybody knows who he is, right? And he's he's been doing this for so many years now, and he's obviously in the very influential in the rap culture. But is he the only one that influenced you, or who got you into the music?
J. Cole. There's Kendrick Lamar. There's Chester Bennington. There's even for jazz. I don't know.
Okay.
Sometimes I like playing saxophone on the piano. Sometimes, and that's Dave Koz, right? Or 80s, Richard Marx. All these.
Man, these are a lot of artists not many people are going to know.
I know, yeah.
Some yes and some no.
Right. I mean, there's a lot of old school, like even boy bands. One Direction, Backstreet Boys, NSYNC.
So a little bit of everything. I think that's why.
Everything, every genre pretty much.
Yeah, so I guess that's why it's kind of influenced you to be very experimental.
Yeah.
And try to be creative as possible. Well, that's exciting, man. I mean, congrats once again on the third album. Again, that's not easy to craft, and it's not easy to kind of put yourself out there. And you may not be where you want to be right now, but I feel like this is going to be a big stepping stone for you to get to that place. And then now you're even talking about creating something new, I guess, being alternative or kind of having like a remix and everything. But, sometimes in life, especially if we're doing this for so long, because 8 years is a long time.
Yeah.
What keeps you going? What drives you?
Just for the love of music. I've always loved doing music since I first started, even when I was a baby. My dad would always put like music and I would dance to it. And I knew that's what I wanted to do.
You wanted to dance?
Yeah, I wanted to dance for sure.
Yeah.
No, I would jump on my brother's bed and started like pretending I was at a concert. And I'd see like a whole audience and I would just like start rapping or singing or playing drums and stuff. So that passion was already there. Obviously, when I grew older, I didn't know what I was wanting to do until I was still doing music. I started playing drums or percussion when I was 8 years old or 7. And then at 12 is when I started playing drums. And then from there, it led me to rap at the age of 15. And that's when it all started.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's something that, like I said, you can always go back to. And it's something that's, I guess you can call it a childhood passion. And it's still strong to this day. Oh, yeah. And,
also, my dad, too. But before he passed away, I showed him some of my raps and everything. And he believed in me because he told me, yeah, you can make it for sure. Like, you got it. I know you have it. From there on, I'm pretty much kind of doing it for him too. So
gotcha. No, that's good, man. That's powerful, and especially for somebody that you love so much, that's supporting what you do and what you love. I mean, you can't ask for more than that sometimes, right?
Yep.
And,
yep.
I mean, are there any signs of stopping?
Not really. There was a lot of bumpy roads. I'll tell you that. But I always, if you haven't seen my documentary, I released a documentary after the Journey album. Just the behind the scenes of this whole music and what my mentality is at. And it's definitely a bumpy road. There's times that I didn't want to do music anymore. There's times that...
Right. Well, for those who don't know, again, he just released his third album, The Journey. Yeah. And he also came out with a documentary on YouTube. You should go watch it. It's awesome. It does talk about your struggle, just what you've been going through these past few years, that people don't believe in you and stuff like that. And it's not easy to listen to those things, especially if it's coming from somebody that, you thought that they had your back and all of a sudden they backstab you.
Yep, for sure.
So how do you turn that around?
I put it all into my music, man. Honestly.
You write diss tracks?
Pretty much. Mentally.
Yeah,
when I see them, I'm just like already in my head is like
about them.
Yeah. I'm just there silently just thinking. No,
okay.
But yeah, no, for sure. It's definitely there's times that I didn't want to do it. But I always come back to it because it's just the love for it. And obviously I know for a fact it's going to provide for me later in the future.
Yeah.
And I'm investing a lot of money and a lot of time on this because I know it's going to grow. It's like me investing in stocks or something. I know it's going to grow for sure.
Sooner or later.
For sure.
Hopefully sooner rather than later. But hey, it's all in the timing, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now that, again, we've been talking about how long you've been doing this for, about 8 years.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, how do you feel about your music so far?
Pretty good. Honestly, it might sound cliche to say, but I'm a big fan of myself. I even get excited before I even release music. That's how much I am. Sometimes I think like, man, I should make a poster of myself and put it in my wall.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a big fan of myself. I mean, it might sound so like selfish in a way, but I love myself that much.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
I even bought a first class ticket for myself just to go to Kansas. It was just like an hour flight, and I made it happen though. It was like $1,000, but I made it happen just because I love myself that much, and I wanted to experience what it's like to be in a different place in life. And I'm going to.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I'm saying?
Trying to portray that lifestyle that you want, and
right.
So why not trying to put it into
existence?
Play, into existence for sure. So what is? I guess I'm glad to see that you love yourself. But what is your proudest moment so far?
Whenever I want to give up, but I don't, because there's a lot of negativity. There's a lot of things going on in my life, and I tell myself, no, I'm not gonna give up, because I've seen a lot of people give up.
Yeah.
So whenever I tell myself no, I'm really proud of myself for saying no, because I'm still continuing this journey of mine. Like I said, a lot of people have quit. A lot of people have stopped. Not just in music. Maybe when they wanted to be a basketball player, they wanted to be a soccer player, they wanted to be maybe a doctor or something, whatever. But they quit. They stopped, and they're living a life they never wanted, but now they are.
I see.
And
that makes sense. It's tough to kind of put yourself in that situation. You think you're gonna fall, you think you're gonna fail, but then in your mind, your mind can be your biggest enemy.
Exactly.
Yep. Or it is your biggest enemy, and once you overcome that and you keep pushing for what you truly believe in, you believe in yourself, you love yourself, you want to be where you want to be, and getting to that point. I can see that. That's an awesome way to kind of look at it, and because it's not easy. It's not easy. There's a lot of competition, right?
A lot.
So what makes you stand out more than them? It's sometimes people say it's the talent, some people say it's the hard work, the passion, all into one. Mm-hmm. So it's tough. Like, how do you think? It's tough to juggle that, because I know people want to do that full time. Like, do you do that full time?
The what?
The music.
The music? Full time? No. Obviously, because I have a job at the moment.
So how do you juggle your everyday life?
Well, the way I have it with my job is in the mornings, and I get out like around 3 p.m. And after that, I just go home, eat something real quick, and just come to my little studio and just start making music.
So just do your little essentials after work, and then you come back and
you
grind at it. How long, like average, how many hours do you think you spend a day trying to craft your music?
So I start like around 4 p.m. and I finish around 12 a.m.
12 a.m. So about a good 7-8 hours, give or take, depending on if you take breaks or something like that. That's a lot, man. That's a lot, because I know you go, like I said, you work, you have family, you go to church.
Well, I don't have family. I don't have no kids or wives.
No kids, but your family.
I spend time with family.
Yeah, you spend time with family. Yeah, no wife and kids. Yeah, he's single. Everybody.
Yeah,
ladies.
No, thank you.
No, yeah, so it's not easy to juggle that, especially kind of having a passion that you want so bad, but you have. To some people, music might be a distraction, but to you, it's the opposite. To you, that's your passion, and everything else, it could be a distraction. I'm not saying it in a bad way. Like, family's not a bad distraction, but some people look at it that way. Or what do you think?
No, I think it's to keep everything balanced. So you have to keep everything balanced. My main priority is God, my family, my music,
right,
and obviously my money. But that's about it.
Okay, and one thing for sure that we were talking about how you can stand out and stuff. I know that I've been listening to you for obviously since you started, and definitely your music has evolved. Your beats are amazing. And your lyrics for a while was one of your weaknesses, in my opinion. But, lyrically, you've gotten a lot better. Actually, you're just really strong now. Like, for instance, sometimes I'm like, wait, what is he talking about when you said something about 2-pack stadiums? That's Machiavelli. What does that mean?
Oh, yeah.
That's in the song on Game Plan Part 2?
Game Plan Part 2. So it's a wordplay. It's called the wordplay. For people who don't know rap, it's called wordplay. And 2-pack stadiums, you know what 2-pack stadiums are? Like just a pack of people, right? But It's also referring to Tupac. Some people used to call him like Tupac sometimes, or mispronounce it as Tupac sometimes, you
Oh, I
know?
see.
So he used to call himself too Machiavelli, and it as like a stage name or like a nickname. And that's why I said it's Tupac synonym, that's Machiavelli.
Yeah.
So it's like it's like a metaphor, like a
I
two
see.
meanings.
It's like a two meanings, or even sometimes like not double standard, but double meaning. Kinda like a
Entendre,
hidden
I think it's called entendre or something.
Entendre, like a hidden message too
Right.
in there too. That's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
So what kind of helps you create that stuff? I mean, do you get inspired? Does it just come to you to do something like that? Wordplay is
does.
not easy.
Oh, no, it's not. And stuff. It's just constantly practicing and hearing how other people do it. Obviously, I'm still practicing on it too, getting better at it even throughout these years. I think you never stop learning, even for professional rappers.
Oh yeah, for
Eminem,
sure.
and then I bet he's still learning a lot. You
Right.
know, so
You have to evolve. Time is going, so you have to evolve with the times.
exactly. Yep.
You can't. People will really call you out if you're just old school. Like, I remember you telling me one story that you sent your music to somebody and they're like, it's a little old school or something like that, right?
Oh yeah.
So what
That was a
happened
manager. It was a manager from another a band, from some Spanish band, and yeah, at the time, because I had an ego, and I mean I still kind of do, but I had that ego of I want to keep it old school, because I'm all that about that old school realism type. And he was like, "No, it's too outdated. Like no one's gonna like this and stuff like that." So I was like, "Okay, fine." So I just did my own thing, and I agree. Now I agree. I was like, yeah. And I look back to that song. I was like, this is terrible. It was really bad.
It was bad. And then, but I mean, hey, I guess he kind of knew what he was talking about.
Of course, yeah.
But see, things like that, at that point, you might think, man, why is he telling me this stuff? Who is he to tell me what that kind of, but then, you look back and you're like, whoa, he had some type of point.
Yeah.
And, it's not many people, speaking of that, things like that, not many artists like to talk about it, but what would you say your biggest weakness is right now when it comes to the music world?
I feel like I don't learn as much as I used to, because I have this type of ego, I guess, in a way, thinking like I kind of know it all, which is not good. So sometimes I think like that's pretty much my weakness, of not being able to at least learn like a little bit more piano, a little bit more singing, stuff like that. So it's like, for some reason, like they have this type of mentality, like, oh, I already know everything, I'm fine.
Yeah.
So
I guess just being a little prideful,
pretty much.
and the aspect of knowing it all.
Yeah.
No, that makes sense. And like I said, not many people are gonna admit to that, but it's good to reflect to where you're at,
Of course.
right? To reflect who you are, because you can look back and you can see how much you've grown, but then how you're gonna keep growing.
Yep.
If you don't admit maybe your mistakes, your flaws, if you don't recognize your strengths, grow on those strengths. And so, yeah, I mean, that makes sense to kind of see that that's something that I guess you can say that it's a weakness that you have.
So, yeah, right now I'm just trying to gain discipline to be like, no matter what, even if I think I'm good at that, I still have to be better.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I know you want to go far.
Mm-hmm.
And, I guess in that term, define success, or what does it mean? What does success mean to you? How do you?
Really good question.
What would, not only that, what would it take to get there?
Well, the first question I'll answer is freedom. What does success mean to me is freedom. Be financially free, not be worrying about money anymore. Helping you guys out with my brothers and my mom. I'm just trying to just get out of this place and live a different lifestyle, man. Because I believe that everything's going downhill. So pretty much, yeah, freedom. Also waking up every day and doing what I love to do. That's my definition of success.
Gotcha. And I guess the second part to that is what would it take to get there?
A lot of commitment, dedication, persistence, consistency, and pretty much training yourself, training your mind, your heart, your spirit for an everyday battle with yourself, with people, because that's all you're going to do. Whenever you're trying to, if you want something in life, that's all you're going to go through.
I mean, do you consider yourself a spiritual person?
Yeah, I do.
Okay, tell me a little bit about that. Has that helped? Has that hindered? What has that done for you as an artist, as a musician, as a writer?
Well, it has given me the strength to not do things that I'm not supposed to, like doing drugs and stuff. I mean, the only thing the only thing that was bad, I guess, I'm not afraid to say it, but it's like I used to kind of do porn and stuff. But besides that, I mean, I didn't go through drugs. I'm not in any gangs, or I'm not doing any other things like these other rappers are doing or artists. I'm not saying I'm better than them or anything, but I'm just saying that I'm glad that I didn't go to that. And I'm happy that, and I thank God every day that I've grown to a nice family, a great family that taught me things of what not to do and what to do. And that taught me a lot. And I've grown a lot from that spiritual way too.
How can you use that? And I mean, I don't want to say it as a stepping stone, but how can you use that as a weapon, if you will, to kind of help you get to where you want to be? We just defined success for you and what it would take to get there. So what would you kind of use that? If you say you're a spiritual person, you know, what would you say?
Thinking like my parents, my brothers have done a lot for me. And I feel like I just owe them my whole world in a way. Like I owe them a lot because they've helped me. So I don't want to let them down, you know? That's the way. It's the same deal with my dad in a way. It's like, even though he's not here, but I still feel like I don't want to let him down too because he believed in me, you know? And there's a lot of people out there that believe in me too and that support me, and I really appreciate everybody that does.
I remember Dad, you know, he would teach you music. He's the one that was kind of like always putting music for you, having you dance. He would always record you and everything, right? And I think he even maybe taught you an instrument or two, no?
Yes, but he was always supportive of paying somebody to teach me music, at least something.
If he couldn't do it, he would, you know.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, is that? I mean, I guess I can ask that. Like, you know, how did you become so versatile and learning a lot of instruments? Did you pick some up on your own, or was it just taking those lessons? Did that help? I mean, did it inspire you to get better, or was it like, nah, I can do this on my own? Since you were talking about ego here.
Yeah, no, because I like, again, going back to it, that I like every type of genre. And I saw it as a tool to help me improve in many ways in rap, because in rap, you can go anywhere, honestly. You can rap in anything. You can go anywhere with that. Just jumping around in different genres and pretty much experimenting has taught me to be unique.
Right. Stand out.
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays, everything kind of sounds generic.
Dude.
Everything sounds the same.
Oh, man, look at all these rappers, and people still listen to them. I was like, how do you listen to that? It sounds just like this other person. It's just, maybe he's just wearing a freaking different hat or different hair, or maybe different tattoos. It's just, that's it. Or maybe he sounds funny or something. And obviously, music is all about entertainment, right? That's all people really focus on nowadays, and it's always been like that for a while. It's entertainment. People like to be entertained, so, and that's what it is too. Music is entertainment, honestly.
So if let's just say you get into this role where you become more influential than you want to be or you can be, and like, how would you make it better? Like, what would make you see how music is now and keeps not only stand out but staying in that role of standing out? Like, what does one have to do? Because everything sounds so generic, right? So I guess that's what sells, is being generic, and it's not just rap. You know, it's in even like, you know, pop, rock. Heck, even in worship music, everything just sounds so generic. Not knocking anybody down or anything, but how does an artist, as a writer, as a musician, as a worshiper, or as a rapper, as a singer, all these things, like, what does one have to do to stay relevant, but at the same time not become part of the norm?
It's constantly experimenting. Change your voice up. Change how you write. Change the snare, or change this little instrument, or change a little bit of a genre. Change something.
Mix things up.
Make it like a remix in a way, and you'll find your style. You'll find your ways. You'll find where you're supposed to be at. You know, and if you're an artist, be an artist. Paint. Don't copy someone's paint. I mean, yeah, just maybe if you want to copy it, but do it just for practice. That's what I'm doing every time I release something. I just do it just for like a little practice or just for the fun of it. But when I release like my actual songs, I try to do it just all to myself. Whatever I practice, I got to put it into play now.
No, yeah, for sure. I think that's something that people sometimes, especially if they're not really exercising that creative muscle, you're going to feel like you're going to always fall back to whatever you're used to. And that's why sometimes people are like, oh, I'm always going to this. I'm always going to the same chords, same melodies, same, like you were saying, write something different. It's kind of crazy to kind of see how everything has become so generic, you know. But, you know, it sells, unfortunately.
It does.
And it could discourage people who want to be experimental. I mean, maybe not. Maybe there's people like, who cares? I don't care if I only get one view on YouTube or whatever. I just want to have my music out there for the people who love to experiment, love to.
Oh yeah,
because I know you kind of talked about that on the documentary. So let me ask you, like, what made you want to do the documentary? Because I know you kind of explained some things about what you went through being different. Who cares if people listen to you or not? So I know maybe that fueled to do the documentary. Is it, did you do it for others? Did you do it for yourself? Did you do it for both?
Yeah. I even have a song on the Journey album called, I don't know, it's the last song. It's called Note to My Future Self. And that's what I'm doing it for too, my future self. And it was just like a note to him, to telling him that I won't let you down and that you better get ready to celebrate because you're about to become successful. And
are we talking about time travel or parallel universes here?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
No. And I mean, I might later in the future, I might write a song back to my younger self.
Okay, that's interesting.
That'd be pretty cool.
That's a good concept right there. That's different.
So, and then also,
what do you think your future self would tell yourself right now?
I'm believing 100% that he would say, "I'm proud of you, and thank you for not quitting. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you that you've done all this. We've been through a lot.
This is some weird parallel universe kind of a thing.
I'm looking at myself right now. It's like, hey, look, we've been through a lot. That's the reason why I wrote it. And
interesting
for the documentary too, and just to look back at it later on in the future and be like, man, I've came a long way.
And it's been out for about a week, give or take, right? So how did you feel about the reactions? Like, what type of reactions did you get from people?
Usually they say, like, man, it's a good documentary, and I feel the way you feel, and I feel like that it's for everybody, right? And anything they want to do in life, that's how they can resonate with it. But it was mostly for musicians too, because I know
the struggling musician out there who's trying to find their own self, right? Mm-hmm. No, yeah, and it's powerful. Like I said, I mean, for those who haven't seen it, again, you should check it out on YouTube.
And hopefully it inspires them, because every time I see other documentaries of other artists,
it inspires you.
It inspires me. I'm like, man, that inspires me to make music too. Yeah. That's one of them too. Is just watching other people make beats. It's kind of like iron sharpens iron type of way, in that type of form. So it's like it's bouncing back to every artist. Gotcha. Pretty cool.
No, that makes sense. And I mean, I got something here for you. I mean, I know we've touched a little bit about you being a spiritual person and how you felt about your music and stuff. But let me ask you this: like, how do you think God feels about your music?
Well, I'm using my talent for sure. Mm-hmm. The talent that He's given me. And I know that He gave me this talent. Maybe there's other hidden talents that I have. I don't know. But I know for sure music is one of them. I'm looking forward to make other songs that are more Christian-like based. Mostly just focusing on Him and making more messages about Him and everything too, for sure. I still want that communication with God because, like I said in the documentary, I don't want to go through a journey where He's not in it at all. And because I've seen a lot of people become successful.
That's actually, that's one of your songs. That's the lyrics, one of your songs.
Yeah. Path.
I don't want to live this life if there's no celebration, if God is not in it. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's good, man.
People have been successful and have a lot of money and everything, but yet they still feel empty. Yeah. And I don't want to feel that emptiness.
So that's important. It's important to kind of have that mindset, especially in this day and age. Mm-hmm. You can see our generation and how everything's kind of going, right? But, it's important to kind of have that, especially kind of keeping that in mind that, this is how I feel about music, but what does God feel about my music,
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, you have your style. Mm-hmm. You can be as unique as you can be. Mm-hmm. You can be what we call versatile. Mm-hmm. A lot of genres, different lyrics, different. You add a guitar here, which may not make sense to people, but to someone's like, wow, it's different.
Yep.
So that's one thing that I think being creative really helps out. So, that's awesome, man. I mean, I'm glad that you're kind of pushing forward. Yes, sir. You're moving on and trying to get to where you need to be, where you define success, where you want to be, is to be able to be financially free. You said that, you want to make it bigger so that way you can inspire other people and influence people.
Yep.
So, I know you've been influenced by other musicians. So with these musics, I mean, are we going to be listening to any songs that have featured artists soon?
Soon, for sure. But right now, obviously, I'm
just focusing on yourself.
I'm focusing on myself and honestly just spending all the money that I have, every penny of it, into myself and music. Not really another artist yet, but soon for sure. I want to collaborate with other people.
Sure.
And I kind of had to cut that selfish way of me thinking like, oh no, I could do all this by myself and everything.
Right.
But
no.
In reality, I've seen a lot of mentors that do music and they say, dude, like you have to cut that ego off and have at least a team, create a team or something. Yeah, and I'm going to create a team, like have a DJ, have a backup singer or a rapper that can be with me. Just have a team or an engineer, people that do lights. All that costs money, right? So, but that's later expensive. In the future. That's later in the future. Whenever I'm start.
You never know. It could be sooner than you think.
Exactly. Hopefully, and I believe it will happen.
If you could choose, name me your 3 desired featured artists that you would have in a heartbeat.
One of them is definitely John Bellion,
Mm.
because he makes his own music. All the artists that he's usually worked with, they all always been saying that he's something else in the studio. His focus is just music. That's it. That's the way he is, and he just loves the way the music is. And me imagining myself and him with me and him in the studio creating songs, that'd be
fire.
That'd be awesome.
2 more.
I just have some people in mind for now, but one of them is, I guess, it's just Ryan Tedder, the singer from One Republic.
He's an amazing not only singer but writer too.
Writer and a producer.
He's written for so many people, man.
Ryan Tedder for sure from One Republic, because
So
he produces his own music too.
Yeah, he does. He's big. He's out there, man. He's Jesse McCartney. You know, all these people that get written together, right? So John Bellion, Ryan Tedder. Last one.
It has to be one of these 3. I would say Eminem, but like Eminem, I don't know. I don't want to say too much about him, but one of them is maybe Logic. One of them is either J. Cole, and the other one is NF.
Yeah, that'd be cool, man. Something different. I mean,
because they're authentic, they're real. Every time I see like behind the scenes in the music or studio, they're just focusing on that all the time.
Gotcha, man. That's awesome, man. So hopefully in the future, that's something that we can look forward to. You know, speaking of the future, what's next for Nurio? Besides the remixed album, is there anything else in particular? Any future projects that we can see within the next year, 3 years, 5 years?
For sure. I'm not gonna stop.
So, but what's next?
Well, more singles, more music videos, and I'm also gonna try to change up the strategy of putting myself out there too, marketing myself better.
And I know, again, not many people may not know you at the moment. Next thing we're gonna do is I call this the Spitfire round. Okay, so this is the first thing or person that comes to mind. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
Who's your hero?
Myself.
Favorite food?
Chicken.
What were you afraid of as a child?
Michael Myers.
Describe your style in one word.
Rap.
Favorite movie genre?
Action.
Favorite store?
Guitar Center.
Marvel or DC?
DC.
What is one of your nicknames?
I know something call me Beat or something like that.
Okay. What is one of your hidden talents?
I can kind of do this a little bit. I don't know. That's weird.
I don't know. I guess you can call that a talent. What never fails to make you laugh?
I think everything kind of makes me laugh, to be honest.
Okay. Who do you text the most?
My family.
Favorite color?
Green.
Favorite actor?
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Dream job?
Music.
Are you single or are you dating someone?
Single.
Favorite anime?
Dragon Ball Z.
Who would win in a fight? Goku or Superman?
Goku.
On the hot dog, ketchup or mustard?
Ketchup.
Money or happiness?
Money.
Which celebrity annoys you the most?
Samuel L. Jackson.
Okay.
Right?
Messi or Cristiano Ronaldo?
Cristiano Ronaldo.
What trait most defines who you are?
A musician.
Musician?
Mm-hmm.
What is your biggest fear?
That I would never make it.
Do you think society is improving?
Yes and no in different areas.
How do you want your loved ones to remember you?
That he never gave up on himself.
Okay, and final question. How would you like strangers to remember you?
He was a good person.
Okay, that was a rapid fire question.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you for coming in, man, and just sitting down, and so people can get to know you, and also, you know, to encourage just to stay strong and to keep at it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, again, you know, you've been dedicated. You're a dedicated musician. You've been doing this for a long time, and you know, you've released 33 albums. You have a music video that came out today, right?
Yes. Step Away. And
that's from an album. That's a second album,
yes,
right?
It's from an album, The Addict. And I released that last year.
Congrats, man. That's awesome. How do you feel about it?
Really good. It was pretty exhausting recording the whole process of it.
I bet.
And especially for my videographer. He's gone through a lot. He had to set up the whole lights, the camera.
That's a lot of work.
Adjusting.
People
and
don't
also
realize.
he had to edit, which took him a little while to edit, which I don't blame him. I mean, I've edited some videos too, but compared to that one, I was like, oh, man, I bet.
That's not easy.
It's not easy at all. And the way it looks too and everything is pretty awesome. So I hope people enjoyed it. Also, what I want to talk about too is that what's popping off right now is one of those 2 songs is Slip Away and Starlight.
Oh, yeah.
Starlight was the core of the Journey album.
Mm.
And when I first released it, I didn't really think too much of it. And I didn't know people would like it as much. Because it has like 2,000 views right now on YouTube. And I was like, oh, wow, it's pretty cool. And people were saying, man, this is a fire song. So I was like, man, dude, honestly, I wasn't even thinking about it as much.
It's always the ones that you don't think anything of it, man.
And I had to have the mentality now.
And the ones you work so hard for, and
people
you're like, this
care.
is going to be amazing. 10 views in the last 4 days. I'm like, really?
Yep. You're just like, wow, all that
crazy.
effort for nothing. But
That's the way it works.
That's how it is usually. You just don't think about it, and something will
Freaking algorithms, man.
Yeah, that too. Oh no, for sure. And so yeah, that was Starlight was the core of the Journey album.
Wow. It kind of just ended built up from there.
Pretty much. I was like, man, you know what? That'd be a pretty cool idea to make an EP/album about the journey that I'm going through right now, and me trying to make it Starlight, like me trying to become a star. And there was like a picture and the first audio I released it on, or like a lyric video on YouTube. There's a picture of a guy sitting on the bench, and there's like stars. He's looking at the stars.
I remember that. That's crazy how you can get inspired by either by a picture, by a word, by something. That's awesome. Something that you didn't expect, and then just
I didn't expect this to even make this journey, the Journey album at all. After I made The Addicts, I was like, okay, what's next? I don't even know what's next. Honestly, I'll just probably release some covers or singles or whatever, something just to put stuff out there. Until I released Starlight, I was like, man, you know what?
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I remember you sending me some samples and stuff, and it's, you know, of course, just like everything, you know, you need to tweak it, you need everything, and it sounded really good. It's something different. I'm like, wow. And I started to see your album come to life slowly but surely, and it's a beautiful process. That's just sometimes that some artists or some fans don't get to see, and that's why documentaries are important, because, you know, they see the final product, but they don't know sometimes what you have to go through, right? To go through that. And so now with everything, I think the documentary is awesome. And then congrats again on the new album, man. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I hope nothing but the best for you. And I guess just to kind of finalize, you know, this, you know, what would you say? What are your final words or final thoughts about, I guess, your career, your process, the journey, what's next?
I have to just keep myself focused. There's a lot of distractions. There's been a lot of time with girls, or too much on video games, or too much on movies and stuff like that. Just a lot of distractions, like trying to stay away from it, because it takes a lot of work, and it's a lot of pain too, especially when you release something really hard that you work on and nobody really cares about it. That's pain. It is the way it is. You kind of have to listen to the audience in a way. That's how you work. And that's with anything with business too. You have to listen to the customers.
Yeah, that's true.
And that's with anything really. And I'm not saying that
you want to please them, you know.
I'm not trying to please them, or I'm using them for the money or anything like that. Because the people that supported me, I see them as family, to be honest, because they pretty much are. I mean, they're like my friends. Most everybody, all my supporters, there's like some strangers here and there, but most of everybody I kind of know already.
Yeah. Well, this is a one way for them to get to know you.
Yeah.
You know, so, you know, thank you for doing this, man.
For sure.
And again, you know, for everybody watching, thank you for tuning in, and please check him out. He's on all the social media platforms. You know, his documentary came out on YouTube, his new album's on YouTube and Spotify and Apple Music and everything, right? Mm-hmm. So just catch him on those, you know, platforms. And again, you know, I know you also have merch. You have a little bit of merch here too.
Yeah.
So it's pretty cool.
That's one of them, yeah.
That's one of them, right? So, you know, just for everybody, those, you know, he's got some, you know, links and stuff that we can share as well. But man, I hope nothing but the best for you, bro.
Yes, sir.
And
Thank you.
Just keep it up. And I can't wait to do this again.
Yes, sir.
To talk about the successes, the journey, like we were saying, the album journey. So thanks, man. And thanks again, everybody, for watching. Stay tuned for more to come. We appreciate it. Yeah, have a good one.
Okay. I'm a man of my word. You know I got a lot of things up ahead of me. Bananas is birth. I knew when I grabbed the mic, this was my destiny.